we are. It's live with the Coach Scott Field Show from Brave Haven Studios here in beautiful Salt Lake City. Got a little rain coming in today, Bob.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that on the way home.
I
Turn my mic on.
I was, of course, driving in, and of course, a lot of cars were kind of hydroplaning in there a little bit, and I thought, oh goodness. And then, you know, it took me a while to get to the studio tonight because the traffic was so bad. So I was pleased to see Ronnie, you know, coming in from North Salt Lake, and the traffic was good for him. So we've been here talking with Ronnie Price, who's going to be a guest on the show. But season 1, segment 16, right here tonight, Bob.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
It is. It's you know, it's flown by, you know, and every week you kind of anticipate, oh man,
yeah,
Monday's a long ways off, and then the next thing you know, it's
Boom,
show night, and you're trying to get off work a little early so you can get down and set up the studio and get ready to go. So.
Well, the amazing thing is, just a few minutes before Ronnie comes walking in, we had another little glitch, and there you were, 10 minutes before the show, working with something else to make sure that the production is great. But our theme for today is the attitude of gratitude, and I got to tell you what, your hard work, your selflessness, the way you put this show together, this virtual set, I am blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to work with you, and I know that sounds repetitive, but I really appreciate all the work that you put into this studio so that we can bring this show and use it as a vehicle to, again, empower, educate, and grow as people, as coaches, as players. And again, we're blessed every week. You know, Ronnie Price is coming in here, who's got a great story, a wonderful journey. He has a lot of insight, and I know he's going to leave our viewers nationally and internationally with a lot of nuggets, Bob, and it's outstanding. I got to thank my wife. Are you kidding me? She lets me get out here and do all this stuff with basketball. I mean, how lucky are we to have supportive women in our lives who let us get out to the man cave, hang out at Brave Haven Studios, and do what we do.
Monday night, Monday night's family night for us, you know?
Yeah, that's right. So, babe, I love you. I appreciate you. But, you know, we went to a farewell yesterday. The Andersons, Spencer was in here last week, and Tanner had his farewell. We went to the church, and, you know, Spencer's sister gave a great talk, and you know, a lot of it was about the gratitude, and I thought, you know what, I want to carry that over to the theme of the show today, because I bet Ronnie could sit there and talk about things that he's grateful for, the blessings in his life, and I'm sure Coach Sellers will do the same thing when he comes on, our second guest. But a lot of interesting things going on. Got to thank our new viewers. Ronnie came in and we were discussing with him Turkey, Croatia, Cyprus, and Israel has come on and followed the show and had viewership. And you think about all the things that are going on in Israel right now, that there's people over there actually taking time out between mortar fire and shrapnel flying and civilians dying, and they're watching the Coach Scott Field show. It's touching to me that we have that, you know, effect, and people get to watch. So I want to thank the viewers from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful. We pray that you know, things will calm down, and you know, we won't have as much bloodshed. It's enough is enough. It's time to, you know, hopefully settle that down, and hopefully the administration will step up and do what's right in that. I don't want to make this a political show, but how can you not mention it when it's going on and you get viewers from Israel now?
You know, and you think about that. The month of July for our nation is a pretty significant month.
Right.
And you just think about the history of our nation and how blessed we are to live where we live.
All the freedoms that we have.
All the places in the world we could have been born. We're born in the United States of America at a time when there's freedom and we enjoy so much liberty. And I mean, the world is in a lot of turmoil right now, and it's scary. You know. You know, we had our grandkids over to the house yesterday and had a little party and stuff, and you just wonder what, you know. And Ronnie was talking about his family and having a new one with his family, you know, and you wonder, how's the world going to be in 15, 20 years?
That's right.
Is it going to be safe and secure? Are they going to be able to enjoy the same things that we enjoy today?
That's right. Well, I mean, a lot of times I think we take for granted the luxuries and the freedoms that we have. Now, I've got a different journey because I have coached so much internationally, and I've been in the Middle East where, you know, there was a lot of bombings and a lot of turmoil, and in a few weeks we're going to discuss some of those things. But again, we're blessed and fortunate, and again, that gratitude that we have for the freedoms. You know, our troops are out there, you know, fighting the battles, and sometimes we lose perspective of who the true role models are,
Yeah.
for ourselves and for the future. Again, look at some things going on basketball-wise. Donald Sterling loses his case today. So it sounds like the NBA is moving forward with the sale of the Clippers, which I think is a positive thing. Again,
I do
I'm
too.
glad that, Adam Silver has put his foot down saying, hey, this is not going to be acceptable. We're not standing for it. The racism has got to stop. And we're not going to have an owner with the bigotry and that type of mentality owning one of our teams. So
Right.
I'm thankful for that. So again, the attitude of gratitude. Great job, Adam Silver, on that. How about Byron Scott gets named head coach a couple days ago to lead the Lakers? Full circle for him. He played and won championships there with the Lakers. Now going to come
he's
back, lead them up, coach them up. He got a nice little contract, so hopefully they can get him some talent to help him be successful and put a good roster around Kobe. And get him back to get him healthy, because again the league needs LA to be strong. Now you got a good Clipper team out there. Now it's time for the Lakers to rebuild, just like some other teams throughout the West, and do a good job against those San Antonio Spurs. And I'm sure we got a guy
Good
right
luck
here in
with
our
that.
studio who can help somebody. I'm telling you, I've seen him too many times. But anyway,
The man can fly.
well, look at this. Team USA, they're gearing up right now. A lot of their selections are being made. Things are being narrowed down. Some guys have withdrawn from the team. Just recently, Kevin Love mentioned that he's not going to be a part of the team. And, of course, he's got some things going on with his free agency. So I'm sure there's some trying times, and it's nerve-wracking. It's stressful. I mean, let's be honest. These guys are men, and, they're blessed to do and perform and play. But you know what? When you don't know for sure where you're going to go, it's tough. It's a battle, and they've got families, and so let's not lose sight and perspective of that. So it's a tough time for Kevin Love. But then you got to look at some of the young guys who have an opportunity to step up when these guys don't fill in. You got DeMarcus Cousins, Andre Drummond, Anthony Davis. So there's still going to be some guys back there who can protect the rim, give us some size and some rebounding. Then they always say, oh gosh, what are we going to do with the shooters? Well, Kevin Durant, he's always stepped up and done a nice job. You've got Steph Curry. People know Steph Curry here well. I think he's going to have a chance to do well. Derrick Rose is mending, and I heard did fantastic. He's been doing a lot of rehabilitation, working with that knee. So, you got Paul Millsap. A lot of people here, Jazz Nation, know Paul Millsap. Followed him for years. He's with Atlanta now. Just a class act. And, you'd like to see him have that opportunity, but for him still to be there, Kenneth Faried, it's going to be interesting to see how Team USA does as they mold that with Coach K, taking them into Spain. It's going to be interesting, but you got to love it when you see a Paul Millsap who is just like our guest, class act, hardworking, doesn't say anything, comes to work, in the gym early, grind. You're happy to see gentlemen like that be successful. So we wish Paul Millsap all the best. A lot of other stuff going on too. There's so much going on in the NBA world because, again, the landscape is still kind of changing. Some free agents are still kind of moving around. It'll be interesting to see where some of these guys land and where they go and who's going to join LeBron. You're still hearing Kevin Love's name there with
Right.
that. You hear Chicago a little bit. Chicago's done a nice job behind the scenes. They really have. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Thibodeau and that franchise goes along. I'm just excited to get the show started, to have Ronnie Price come in and be with us. Coach Don Sellers, who, of course, I put the logo up earlier and said, hey, this logo is very meaningful for today's show because Ronnie Price has got multiple years as an NBA veteran who's played in the league. And, Don Sellers was with the Memphis Grizzlies when he worked with Jerry West, who is the logo. So I thought it was kind of cool that we could just throw the whole logo thing in there, and thought we'd sell it that way. But he'll be our guest after Ronnie Price. But we got to thank our sponsors first and foremost. Again, the attitude of gratitude. If it wasn't for you, Bob, and Brave Haven Studios, the Coach Scott Field Show would not be where it is today with this phenomenal set. So
Probably be better off.
No, are you kidding me? This set looks amazing. Ronnie, you're sitting there behind the scenes, and you see the lights, the microphones, and he's got graphics going on, and I mean, he does an amazing job. I'll tell you what. So, Bravehaven Media, you can get a hold of Bob at bravehaven.com, 801-738-8697. Bob, let's promote the new little toy you got with Bravehaven Media. You got the drone, the eye in the sky. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, what a great investment.
I work for the fire department. That's my real job.
Yeah, right.
And in emergency management, I'm the deputy emergency manager for West Valley City. And one of the things that we need sometimes is some different vantage points. And so I'd been in a lot of meetings where we discussed the drones and things like that. And I went out and bought one, and we'll utilize it. I got a little clip we'll play here. I'll just kind of talk about it for a second when we play.
Yeah, as you set it up,
no audio with the clip, but
the team that I coached in Venezuela, Bob, they had actually purchased one of those, and when we were doing our practices in the dome, the guy was sitting there just going along, and then there that drone was up above, and you're sure football teams will be using it, soccer teams can be using it. You're able to utilize it with what you do in your daily life. I mean, I see so many advantages as long as they're used the right way,
Yeah, and we're looking to use it for real estate and for promoting developments. The video it's playing is a development called Fairborn Station.
Okay.
It's got a huge apartment complex, and then the center park is this a park with a water feature in it and stuff like that. So it's something that's still being developed, and it's they're just finishing phase 1 and getting ready to move to phase 2. But that's the video that everybody is seeing out there right now. So I don't really know what else to say about that.
I think it's cool, but look at it this way. If someone has like maybe a reception, or they could contact you and you could get some amazing shots with that drone during the wedding ceremony or receptions, or like maybe there's a graduation or something. There's a lot of milestones in our lives where you look back and you think, I can remember so many times when I was traveling overseas and coaching, and I always took for granted, oh, you know what, I'm here. And now I sit back and think, gosh, I wish I would have taken more videos. I wish I would have been taking more pictures. And here's a great opportunity to get a hold of Bravehaven and you at 801-738-8697 if you need this type of work done. Maybe you are a land developer and you need to go out and take a look at some terrain that Google Maps just won't do for you, and then you've got the technology.
You can get up close and personal with it, and it's pretty interesting. It's fun to fly. I can tell you that. It's fun to fly, but it shoots 1080p video, and then the still pictures are 14 megapixels. So it's high resolution, high quality video. So for whatever you want to dream up.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just a dumb basketball coach. 1080p, that's like foreign language to me. I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds like some good stuff.
Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff.
There you go. Well, even the outdoorsmen, think about those guys who want to go out and do some scouting, maybe do some elk hunting. They can send that thing up and see where those herds are at, and not even, you won't spook them. What an idea that is.
Yeah.
So some of you guys who are guides out there here in the state of Utah, Idaho, out here in the western states, that might be a handy piece of equipment for you to have.
Absolutely.
You want to take your scouting to another level, huh?
That's right.
Well, hey, let's also thank Salon Dante, 94 South and 7th East, 801-572-8812. My wife, Kim Fields, again, got to appreciate and thank her. She will flat out have you looking good. I've seen so many before and afters, and she's got some great clientele, and she's been there almost 20 years, Bob. It's amazing.
She's not that old, Scott.
No, are you kidding me? I did not say that. I did not say that. And also MetLife, Nick Fitzgerald. Get a hold of him for your financial advisory needs. He's at 801-999-3773. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get Ronnie Price right here as a live studio guest to share some great nuggets with all you around the world. So we'll see you here in just a moment. I'm glad you said that.
need, but they're still waiting. So
Well, we'll just keep praying, man.
And you're back, Coach.
All right, hey, we are back with the Coach Scott Field Show from Brave Haven Studios. We have Ronnie Price here with us today, Bob. And again, I've been behind the scenes with Ronnie for many, many years. We're blessed and fortunate to have him on the show. You've got a great journey. Played your high school ball in Texas, yeah? And then I believe you were, before you came to UVU, you were, what school were you at?
Nickel State.
Nickel State.
Yeah.
And then transferred up here with Coach Hunsaker, who I've known for years, clear back with his Ball State days because we're Indiana guys.
Absolutely.
So, I'm sure you've got some great stories with that. But,
Absolutely.
Bob, I remember back in 2005, and we were sharing this story off air. I was down at the NBA Summer League. Warren Legary was kind of really getting that going because, the Summer League before was always at Long Beach, and then, of course, things kind of moved to Las Vegas. And you went in with the Sacramento Kings, and I remember talking with Coach Hunsaker, and he was excited. He's like, yeah, he goes, I got this guy. He goes, he's going to make it. Someone's going to miss out on him if they don't grab him. And I was like, so I was curious to see who he was talking about. I was there. I'm in the stands, watched you play, and I was like, Coach Hunsaker, his finger's on the pulse.
Right.
You've got a future, and look at the journey you've been on since. Again, I don't want to misrepresent, but you graduate from UVU. You're undrafted. I believe 2005. You're with the Sacramento Kings.
Mm-hmm.
You spend a couple years with the Kings, and then you spend 4 years here with the Utah Jazz.
Absolutely.
I was able to watch you up close and personal. Coach Sloan was so kind to me, allowed me to come in and observe and consult with him a little bit. I was that quiet guy just sitting up there in the stands, not trying to cross boundaries, and I'd watch you come in, I'd watch you work, you went about your business. Coach Corbin had the bigs at one end, Coach Layden had the guards, and you guys were, getting up your shots, but you always were quiet, you were a class act, you went about your business, you was on the court early, all those cliches that we hear people talk about, you exemplify that, and I think it's awesome that you're here today to share these things with people. Then you spent some time with Portland, and then the Phx Suns, and then recently with the Orlando Magic.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How fun has that been? And you have exciting things going on too. What do you say, 9 weeks? You had a newborn?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, family's growing. I have my 5-year-old little girl, my 3-year-old son, and now the newborn.
It's hard to believe 5 years old. I remember she's born. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. So, yeah, man, it's just, my kids are, my biggest blessing right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just enjoying them. Summertime is always family time because, Dad's always gone during the season.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we just enjoy our time together right now and enjoying the new baby, and
You bet.
he's coming into this crazy family and just wondering what's going on.
Are you getting
right
much
now.
sleep at night?
Yeah, I get sleep. I don't know how much my wife does.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm getting sleep, and he's a good baby.
That's
he's a good
awesome.
baby. So it's definitely been fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Our theme for today is the attitude of gratitude, and I'm sure you've got tons of gratitude for many things in your life. But where would you start off with that theme of the day, the attitude of gratitude?
I don't know. I'm just thankful for my family, my support group, my parents.
You bet.
And all my family around my parents back home in Houston. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And if it wasn't for meeting my wife and having a chance to play for Coach Hunsaker, so many things that when I look back, if one piece would have not been there, I probably wouldn't have been here.
Whole different, yeah.
I'm thankful for God's plan.
You
And,
bet.
and I'm just riding his plan and seeing where it takes me. Trying not to worry about anything and just trusting in Him.
There you go. Put it in His hands and pray on it. And, it's always on His timetable and His will.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we don't understand that. We get stressed.
Right.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been stressing my wife out because I'm so eager to get back on that court.
Right.
And then I appreciate that. I've got some great friends. Keith Smart, who's a very spiritual guy. He constantly sends me texts. He's like, "Hey, it's on his time." And
Absolutely.
so it's refreshing to hear you reiterate those types of blessings and things, because we know that you're going to land on your feet. It is a business, and I'm sure it's a little bit stressful, but thank goodness that you do have your family and your support systems.
Absolutely.
And you've got that new baby, so that's exciting. But let's talk a little bit about your time with UVU and Coach Hunsaker. I've known Coach Hunsaker for years. He's a tough, old school kind of coach who's going to get the most out of their players, and
Right.
Again, I remember when Coach Hunsaker was telling me back in 2005, he goes, "No, I think I've got one that's going to stick."
Right.
And you did. You that perseverance, that work ethic, and again, all those skill sets that we talk about, you have those. So what were the things that you have taken the most from Coach Hunsaker? Because I know you guys are friends. You guys, both in North Salt Lake together. So
right. Hunsaker really just showed me how to use, the God-given abilities that I had, and how to really use them, to play the game the right way.
Yeah.
I was kind of raw when I got, to UVSC. At the time, it was UVSC.
Right.
And he just molded me, man.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the number one option when I first got there. We had a great team, great players. So I was like the third, fourth option on that team. But, he stuck with me, and I stuck with him. I believed everything that he said. And anything that he told me, I worked on it.
Yeah.
And, our relationship has grown over the years. And now I look at him, as my coach, but more as a friend.
Gotta love that.
So he's been a family away from family, definitely. And he's also taught me a lot about the game.
You bet.
And defensively, that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned from him was how to play D, how to compete. And that's probably the reason why I've stayed in the league for 9 years now, is because, I've showed a level of being able to compete at a high level and be able to defend guys that, at a high level. So those things have all worked out. And, I just enjoy it, man. I still feel like a kid.
Yeah.
I love the game of basketball.
That's right.
So much, and my passion for the game, it grows. It doesn't fade. So, I know that I'm getting older, but my body still feels good and feels young, thank God.
Yeah.
And, it's just been a great ride, and I don't regret any of it.
There you go. Well, so you spent time with the Sacramento Kings, undrafted. You had to go in there and prove yourself. You, which is a different kind of challenge. Sometimes there's positives with that, because if certain draft picks have got a salary cap where they can be when they're drafted. As an undrafted player, you've got a little bit more flexibility, in the business sense. So that was kind of worked out into your favor. And then you get to spend 4 years here with the Utah Jazz. You're playing for Hall of Fame coach Jerry Sloan. What did you pick up, and what did you learn the most from Coach Sloan? Because every day was a clinic, and I enjoyed, and I was so blessed. And again, the attitude of gratitude. I appreciate him allowing me to come in for 2 years to watch and observe, and he was great with the press. He was great with you players. He never let the tail wag the dog, and you know what I'm talking about when I say that. It doesn't matter if you're the 15th man or the first man.
Right.
You know what? Pull your socks up, tuck your shirt in, and go to work. But what did you get from Coach Sloan?
Oh, man. Where do I start?
Yeah, right.
I think my biggest lesson from Coach Sloan was, how to be a man and how to be a professional. He had a lot of life lessons that went on with not just teaching the game. Every day he had a different life lesson. And, he was always teaching us about being respectful, to people, when we go to restaurants or when we're on the plane, making sure that, we clean up our area so that, other people's jobs are easier. It's things like that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The reason why we were such a good core, because we all had the same values, but it all came from Coach Sloan. So he installed those core values of, being respectful and, being the ultimate professional. And the team just glued to that, and then we were able to be successful on the court. So
Yes, you were.
as far as, that was it. And that's all we needed. Coach Sloan was a fighter when he played. He was a tough competitor. So of course, that was one of the lessons that from day one, if you didn't come in ready to compete, then you had no business being on the floor. So hey, look, I take my hat off to Coach Sloan. He's definitely, been more than a blessing to me. So
You bet. I was going to say, we could have a whole show
Absolutely.
talking about Coach Sloan himself,
Absolutely.
the Hall of Famer. But like you say, the person, he does so many things behind the scenes that doesn't get into the press, that he doesn't want acknowledgement for, and he'd rather not, hear about somebody needing $4,000 or something and him helping somebody
Right.
out. He's just that kind of guy, and you know what? He may walk around with that John Deere hat on. He's got those Midwest values, but you know what? That's who he is. He was true to himself, and Coach Johnson was right there with him for all those years, and the loyalty, and again, those things that you observe. It's amazing to watch, because you don't see a lot of that in this business,
Right.
and it's refreshing to know that it went on here for years, and what a again, I use class act a lot, but you know, you guys had the principles, you had the core, you guys worked extremely hard. You had a good group of guys that, I mean, were getting after it, and you know, had you know, a few things gone your way,
The
and
Lakers.
well, that three-headed monster at the time, but
The Lakers.
you know, but sometimes some health issues, and everybody has to deal with those things. But you guys were right there every year, and you know, a break here or there, you know, things could change in a hurry.
Right.
But you guys had a lot of success, and then of course, the Phx Suns, Portland Trailblazers, recently with the Orlando Magic. What's it like coming back here in the summer after being in that heat and humidity in Orlando?
Right.
But a great franchise. You got Victor Oladipo, who's on the rise, and I'm sure it was probably fun for you to see a young guy like this when you remembered being that person,
Right.
and you could help and guide him in the locker room,
Right.
and you would be great for that role to say, young man, come here, let me tell you something.
Absolutely.
Let me. You know, you need to ice up and take care of your body, because you're an example and a testament to hard work and keeping your body right and taking care of the machine, because your body is your asset as a professional athlete. I mean, what types of lessons, you know, were you working with, you know, like a Victor Oladipo who came in so athletic? Because, you know, you guys were like, when you came in the league, you were as athletic as Victor.
Right.
And so
Still am.
exactly, without a doubt. That's what I'm saying. That so for him to learn from a guy like you, even though you may not have seen yourself in that capacity, I could see you in that role where you'd be like, young man, listen,
Right.
you know, I can teach you what guys have taught me for years, and to have that veteran experience and leadership is an asset to any team and locker room.
Right.
So, general managers, come on now. I know you know what you're doing, but don't let it slip. Don't let it slip through your hands. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so talk about some of those things and some of those experiences that you've had in different franchises.
I had great veterans when I was young. You know, at my position, right? So Mike Bibby,
Yeah.
Brevin Knight, Earl Watson. You know, those guys were great. Jason Hart. I mean, all those guys were great. And so when I actually went to Portland, that was my first time being in that role. And Damian Lillard, of course, you know, a hometown guy.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine. You know, I was able to help him, you know, get through some ups and downs, because, you know, when you come into the league as a rookie, the first thing that you think of is, yeah, I'm going to be great. I'm going to win every single game. And you take every game so hard.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a bad game, and I saw it with Damian, and I saw it with Victor. You know, their first bad game was in preseason, and they're in their locker, you know,
Yeah.
falling
Beating himself
apart.
up. Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, it's just preseason.
Yeah.
You know, it's things like that if you don't have someone talking you through those things and helping you transition from one game to the next, then, you know, it can hurt a player.
Yeah.
And I was thankful to have those guys, so I would be selfish not to extend those things to the younger
Right.
guys that I'm around now. And, you know, Damian, goodness, you know, the league still hasn't seen, you know, everything that he can do. I'm just so happy and so proud of him, man. He's like a little brother to me.
You bet.
And then Victor, you know, Victor coming in, I think Victor had the hardest role because he was coming from a two-guard in college, trying to make a transition to being a point guard in the NBA.
That's tough.
Even if you're a point guard in college coming to the NBA, that role is still tough. The game is different. You have superstars all around you. You got to know where guys like the ball. It's different than the college game. So Victor had it, you know, he had a double whammy, right?
Yeah. That's so true.
So, I, you know, one thing that I told Damian and Victor, I said, listen, I'm going to get you ready. I'm going to pick you up full court every day. I'm going to foul you. I'm going to mess with you. I'm going to do everything that's going to make you
Prepare
uncomfortable.
him. Yeah.
But listen, if you can take me guarding you every day the way I'm going to guard you, then all these guys that you see in front of you during the season, it won't be a problem.
Yeah. Wow.
So just know it's out of love and out of respect, and I'm trying to get you better.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
awesome.
they embraced that. Thankfully, you know, they didn't look at me as a guy that was trying to hurt them anyway. I'm not that guy, but just a guy that wanted to push them.
Yeah.
And because I knew what they were going to be facing.
Yeah.
So, two great young guys that are going to be great players for years and years in this league, and you know, I'm just happy to see them have success.
You're right. And I mean, here's the thing. Let's not skip the point. You've still got several good years of basketball in you, and there's no doubt that, you know, whatever team is fortunate enough to pick you up, you're going to be that guy who can, you know, supply a role. And if someone, I mean, you could step up there in that starting role
Right now,
easily.
yeah.
Because you are a defensive stopper. You've been blessed with so much athleticism. You play above the rim, but you go hard, and you compete. And I like hearing your story about telling the young guys about the emotional pitch. And I can remember clear back from some videos from way back in the day when, Magic Johnson hits a sky hook and wins a game early in the season. And Kareem's like, young man, slow down. You can't be at that emotional pitch this early in the season. It's a marathon now. This ain't just a sprint.
Right.
So, the fact that you've been there, done that, there's a lot to be said. And you don't coach experience.
Right.
And you have that experience. So that's a blessing. And, you've earned that right.
Well, thank you.
And again, I can sit here and speak for this, and I sound like a promoter or something. But Bob, I've watched this guy in the gym, and I can remember like several years ago going out to Taylorsville Rec. I'd have some young guys. I'd be doing some skill development. There's Ronnie over in the gym by himself, getting it in. I mean, he's getting his shots in. He's working on his ball handling. I mean, he's worked up a lather in keeping his body right because he knows when the time comes, it's time to go to work. And he's always kept himself right. I mean, you look at him now. There's not an ounce of fat on him, and again, your body is your asset, and you take extremely good care of your body. Let's talk about that for just a moment.
Yeah.
The day in the life of Ronnie Price. Even though it's the off season, you want to tone it down, but you got to keep yourself mentally and physically prepared. What is the day in the life of Ronnie Price? I mean, you're probably getting up early. You obviously got to eat right. The nutrition is important. The strength and condition is important. But yet also that downtime and how to maintain the body with the ice and the saunas. And what is it that Ronnie Price does? Because there's thousands of players out there watching right now that could learn. Hopefully they got their notebooks out and they're going to soak this up like a sponge. So share it with them, Ronnie.
Well, when I was my first couple of years in the league, I didn't understand break.
Okay.
So as soon as the season was over with, I was going crazy, doing too much. And as the years have, gotten on my back a little bit, now I've started to understand the most effective way to train. And like right now, I'm playing pickup. I play pickup and I lift, at least a month after the season.
Sure.
But I keep my cardio right. I stay active. I keep doing things. I ride my mountain bike. I get off of my feet. Because your joints can get some wear and
that
tear.
pounding, that's exactly right.
So
get that osteoarthritis.
Yeah, do some alternative things like that as far as biking. But but tomorrow, it's a 7 o'clock wake up. I'm gonna be at at Sugar House Park with my weight vest, and running hills and doing my defensive sliding drills in the grass, and it's just things that I have to do to prepare myself. It doesn't mean anything for me to come into camp every year and be the best in shape, which I pride myself on that. If I'm not the best in shape, if I'm not in the best shape coming into camp, then
coaches know it. It's just going to show.
That's a problem, right? That's unacceptable. So I have to get to my shape. My level of shape is different than other guys. I have to get to my shape, and because of the way I play at such a high level, and what I mean by that is, I'm picking up guys full court. I have to be in better shape than most. So there's in shape, and then there's my shape.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things that I do as far as eating right. Making sure I don't eat fried foods and things like that. You see all the nutrition things out there. But I go hard, man. I don't know any other way to go. I play. I do my basketball workouts. So I can have two a days for sure. But sometimes it could be 3 workouts in a day, and I'll do that 4 days a week now instead of 5 days a week like I used to. I give myself some time off.
Good.
Because now basketball is pretty much like riding a bike. And one thing that I like to do in the summer more than anything is play, because my role, I'm not a starter, so starters get a lot of on the court time. They get put in a lot of playing situations throughout the course of the year. Well, I don't have that much playing situations as a starter would, so I have to get my playing situations in the summertime.
That's right.
I work out all through the year and practice before practice.
Keep it right. Yeah,
so
maintain.
Workouts, I do tons of those during the season. So I try to play. I still love to play the game so much. So when I'm not playing as much during the season, I itch to play in the summer. So I play in the pro-am. I play pickup with the local guys here, colleges and overseas guys, and it's just fun to play, man. I love the game of basketball. Right. So you know, it's a joke, and I tell people all the time, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, 60 years old, and I'm gonna be that guy in the rec center with 2 ankle braces on, 2 knee braces on, you know, fully padded like a football player. And I'm still gonna look for a game because that's how much I enjoy playing basketball.
From a coach's perspective, you can see it in your eyes, you see it in your body language, you hear it in your tone. This is the game that you love. This is the game that, I mean, you know, you are about this game, and you love, and it's refreshing again to see guys who have been in the league, because you see some guys that come in the league and you know, maybe something doesn't work out and don't meet their own personal expectations, and they get jaded and they get that negativity. You haven't jumped on that negative bus, and I love that. I mean, you love what you do. You take pride in what you do. You work extremely hard. I've even seen a video of you where you had these gloves on that were kind of like weighted gloves with some ball handling. And so again, you're taking care and paying attention to detail to make yourself better and give yourself another skill set. Because you are that lockdown defender, you are that athlete. But when I saw those gloves on you, I was like, okay, you're taking it to another level. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, so those gloves are power hands. So they just launched a product, actually. A good friend of mine who played with me in Utah Valley for a year, he made this ball handling glove, and it's a weighted glove with a slippery surface. And you know, God, it's blowing up. I mean, if you follow the guy on Instagram, Dribble Too Much, he just, you know, started putting them in his workouts. There's tons of pros that are using them. So yeah, man, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a wonderful thing for young kids if they want to improve on their ball handling.
Right.
It's something that, you know, they can use in their workouts to make their ball handling stronger and sharper.
You know, we've got an adopted son, Brandon, and he just signed to go down to USU Eastern, down in Price, and he's a little point guard. And I know years ago when we had our charity classic here during the NBA lockout, he was sitting right there on the bench with me, and he's always been in all of your athleticism. And I'm sure if I'm gonna look him up, Dribble Too Much, because if I could get a set of those gloves for my son, I know it's going to help his game, because he's a lefty. He's got a Brandon Jennings kind of game, but he can play a little bit, and I'm pretty proud of him. That's awesome. I'm glad that, you know, you're out there and you can lead by example, because he can look up to someone like you, and you're a great role model for him. And so I thank you for that. That even when you don't know it, there's guys watching you and seeing what you're doing, and they're trying to emulate so that they get better. So I want you to see, there's things about you that you didn't even know I was going to bring that up. But again, I got to do my research. But I'm proud of you. I think it's amazing. Do you have any nuggets that you want to share with the viewers out there, you know, about what they need to do? I mean, I know you're like myself. You get to go into a lot of gyms. You travel the country. What are some weaknesses or some deficiencies that you see with the majority of players, or just they need to get better at the fundamentals? You know, too many guys just roll the ball out and they just want to play. Right. You know what? Learn to pass, learn to dribble, learn the footwork, get the jab steps, get the, you know, swing through, attack the outside, you know, get up, you know, hit the outside hand when the guy hits the curl. I mean, again, we're talking advanced details, but what are some things, Ronnie, that you see when you go into these gyms and these little kids are just trying to emulate what they see on, you know, SportsCenter's top 10?
Right. Well, you know, look at champions. And what I mean by that is, you know, look at the championship teams, college, NBA, and look at the guys that have success, and see, you know, most of those guys, like the Spurs, for instance, there's no one that's doing all these crazy ball handling moves and, you know, one-on-one isolation breakdowns. There's none of that going on. But they play team basketball, but they're fundamentally sound. And what I mean by that, I think that Steph Curry is probably one of the most fundamental sound basketball players in the NBA right now. He's not athletic at all. Sorry, but he's not. But his fundamentals are so advanced that he still can be effective at a high level. I mean, he can shoot the ball extremely well. He can pass the ball extremely well.
And gotten better throughout the years
and
at the passing.
Absolutely, and he can handle the ball with the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, fundamentals: shooting, passing, dribbling. But perfecting those fundamentals, and then you have to play, right?
Yeah.
I tell guys all the time, you can do all this ball handling drills by yourself all day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see how good you're going to be when I get in front of you and start defending you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not used to a guy pushing on you, reaching at you, slapping at your ball, then all those ball handling drills that you did for days in and days out
Mm-hmm.
aren't going to help you.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to simulate the real thing. So if you're going to do all those things, go find a game, go find someone 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and just play ball. Then you can see that shot that you've been working on, can you get it off?
Mm-hmm.
Is it quick enough? Is your release quick enough?
Love
That
it.
move that you were working on, well, did you work on it with the right angles? You know what I mean? Because I'm cutting you off now, and that crossover dribble, well, you were putting that crossover dribble in front of you. Well, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
You know, Tony Parker's going over the top of the hand. Chris Paul's going underneath the hand and over the top of the hand. So there's things like that, with your spin move. Kyrie Irving, he's almost replacing the defender. His spin move is so tight and sharp that he's almost in the spot where the defender was. When
Right.
he gets done
That's
spinning.
right.
And
Well, he keeps it so tight to the chest as he spins.
so there's
Yeah.
things like that if you don't play,
Mm-hmm.
then you can drill all you want, and it'll never get any better.
Love it.
But Steph Curry, I think, is a real testament of
Mm-hmm.
what it takes to be so very fundamentally sound. And you can tell he drilled and shot, but he played.
Yeah.
And he has a good feel of playing the game.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Ronnie, think about it. Again, that's another player that kind of like Oladipo and yourself, where you've gone from a two guard transitioning into that point guard, and that's a different type. It's a different character. I mean,
Right.
are you going to be a pass first point guard? Are you going to be the facilitator? Are you going to be a scoring, like, Allen Iverson was more of
Right.
the scoring point guard? So again, those are transitions that, like you say, if you don't play and you play at those high levels and at that speed, like you say, the angles are important, the physicality is important. I've seen these guys in the drill workouts where they got the weighted ball and they're swinging things through, and they're being hit and slapped. Again, trying to be knocked off balance and keeping your core, your stabilization. And to me, those are all things that you've got to have
Right.
to get to that next level. I mean,
Right.
there's an NBA player, and then there's that next level.
Right.
High intensity, high level stuff, and those are things that I do with my individual workouts. And again, I love to hear you talking about those things, because there's too many players out there that just pick up the ball and. Let's just be perfectly honest and call it like it is. There's a difference between being a player and playing the game.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of weekend warriors that get out there and just play. But to be a player,
Right.
you have to have that skill set. You have to have that go-to move. You have to have that counter move. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses. And I'm thrilled that you can sit here live in front of the world and share these things, because you're a living testament of it, because you're in that grind daily.
Yeah. Footwork, man. Footwork is.
Talk on it.
Footwork is extremely important. Tony Parker, crazy footwork. Kobe Bryant, crazy fundamentals, crazy footwork. People think that Kobe Bryant's just this isolated, and I'm just going to watch his feet. Watch how simple he makes the game. And those are the guys that I love watching. Andre Miller, I mean, come on, man. Andre
He's been
Miller,
doing it for years.
and he makes the game look easy.
Yes,
right?
he does.
So those
Again,
are the
not
guys.
athletic,
Absolutely.
big body, but he plays to his strengths. Doesn't try to do too
Absolutely.
much.
So being in college, playing within a system, right, is great, and you learn. So I really like guys playing in college for a while.
Yeah.
But I understand, if you have a certain talent level, you're gifted enough. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Go learn from an NBA coach and start learning the NBA game as soon as possible. I love that. But I really do feel that guys that work on that footwork and guys that work on all those fundamentals, man, they're great. And I love watching guys that don't have the athleticism that some of our elite players have, and I like to see those guys have success. So.
Well, and you talk about that footwork. I mean, you see these guys that give that jab and take that inside foot and then step back to create that space, because they have to get that shot off, because they may not have the elevation.
Right.
You look at Kobe now; he's coming off the torn Achilles. So that footwork is going to be that much more important to him, and we're probably going to see him transitioning more on the block, doing some post-up stuff, because again, that's going to be a skill set. And again, like you say, that footwork. Look at Timmy Duncan.
Oh, man.
Tim Duncan is the real deal with that footwork, and he's just fundamental. You don't see many guys taking that angle bank shot the way that he does. I mean, he creates the space, swings through, gets it high and soft. those are just fundamentals, and those are drills and things that you do, repetition, to get that muscle memory and condition yourself to be that good,
Right.
you know? So I'm thrilled to hear you, you speak on those types of things. Let's tell us more. What's something about Ronnie Price that most people don't know? Tell us something behind the scene. What's something that your wife knows about you that most people don't know about you? Do you have like a pregame ritual? What do you do to get your mind right for that 82 game schedule? Let's say here it is. You're in the grind. It's February.
Yeah.
Do you do anything different in a February to get yourself mentally prepared for that challenge? What is it you're doing?
Honestly, if I ever get too overwhelmed with what's going on, I can always find peace and motivation and whatever it is I'm searching for just by prayer, meditating,
Love it.
and just digging into the Word.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm still growing spiritually, but
Mhm.
it's something that I know is the reason why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So that is probably the number one thing if I'm ever going through anything in life. Not just basketball. I think that's those times when I'm slipping away from the most important thing, right?
Okay.
So,
That's
other
great.
than that, I love being with my family, and I just love people. I love being around people, and I love trying to help.
Yeah.
I don't know if I am much of a help to anyone.
No, I'm sure you are.
I love being able to maybe help someone or answer someone's question, or if there is a young player coming in the league, trying to motivate them to have success beyond the level of their own imagination, and setting the standard high for guys.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things that I really appreciate doing. I enjoy doing.
You're doing it right now. This show is all about empowerment. It's all about education. It's all about growth. And whether you realize it or not, Ronnie, a lot of people are watching this right now, and you are giving insight. You are sharing. So I can't thank you enough for your humbleness, sharing your word, your faith, and talk about that faith.
Yeah, man.
Active faith.
My man started that.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, Anthony Tolliver, he was a guest
Yeah.
on the show back, and so he sent some shirts and some bands, and myactivefaith.com. Let's just talk about it for a second. In Jesus' name I play. You gotta love it. And again, the fact that you walk it, you talk it, you are about it. Again, we're blessed to have you on the show,
Thank
and I really appreciate you taking the time. And
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see you in the gym real soon here, because
Absolutely.
it's a small valley.
Yeah,
but
man.
if there's anything that I can do, I'd be thrilled. Do you have any camps that are coming up, or anything you'd like to promote, or how can people, follow you, or what types of outreach kind of things?
I'm not a social media guy.
Okay.
I do have an Instagram page for friends and family, but
Yeah.
it's blocked.
Okay. Okay.
And I haven't done any camps for a while, and that's something.
Well,
that,
your schedule too. You've been out.
Yeah, and then free agency. I'm a free agent right now.
Mhm.
I would hate to commit to something, and
You bet.
So yeah, but my camps I will start. Once I'm done, maybe 7 years from now.
Mhm.
God willing.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I'll bring my camp back for sure. I had
That's
a lot of
outstanding.
fun with kids. I'm gonna be around the game no matter what. Just don't know what level.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, hey, I'm kind of just a homebody.
Yeah, that's okay.
I really.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's where we get centered and
Yeah.
grounded with our families,
Mhm.
and again, you've got the family, you've got the kids, and that's got to be awesome to be able to, no matter what kind of day or what kind of game you've had,
Mhm.
you get to come in, walk through that door, you see your wife and your kid. They don't care if you won by 20. They're just happy to see Dad,
right.
Well, Ronnie, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. Let's stay in touch. I know some great things are
Absolutely.
going to happen for you,
Thank
my
you.
friend, and God bless you. And
Same to you.
it's nothing but love and respect,
Same here,
and
man.
really appreciated. When I reached out to you a week ago, that you were able to kind of squeeze it in. So.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mrs. Price, for allowing him to come and be a part of the show today. And Bob, you have any questions for Ronnie?
No, I was
It's just a great segment.
yeah,
huh?
yeah, awesome. I was just kind of overwhelmed with the information that came out there. The one thing I was thinking about, a lot of our viewers are young high school players,
Mhm.
and I think you gave him some wonderful
Oh.
advice and some things to work
I
on.
hope so. Have fun with the game. That's the most important thing, and don't take the game for granted. I mean, if basketball is something that you want to do, enjoy it, work hard at it. You know, I'm a firm believer in hard work, dedication, and faith. And you know, hard work is something that is a cliche, but dedication, I'm talking about being dedicated to your hard work. You know, if you're dedicated to your hard work, dedicated to working hard, and then you have faith, not just a religious faith, but faith in yourself, then that carries over to having confidence. You know, those three things can lead to confidence. And once you have that, the sky's the limit. And if it's meant to be, you know, if it's part of God's plan, then whatever's meant to be is going to happen anyway. So just enjoy it. And that's
Yeah,
that's
and,
it.
and you know that's to me that's just great advice. Whether it's basketball,
Any
whether
walk
it's
of
any walk of life, any profession, those things that you mentioned are what make a person successful.
You better believe it. I'll tell you what, and from a coach's standpoint and just a human standpoint, it's a shame that you always hear people talk about, you know, work ethic, and you talk about going hard. It's become a skill set. Not everybody does it.
Right.
People think they're working hard, but they don't know how to work hard until they actually seen somebody do it. So to have a role model like you to say, hey, no, I'm going to get it in, you're going to go out there, you'll talk about it, but then you're going to be like, okay, are you getting up at 7 in the morning? Are you getting up at 5:30 to go run with the dogs? Are you getting that weighted vest to go run the hills? Well, those are the things that you've got to do. And while everybody else may have different priorities or different obligations, you still got to take the time to do what you know you got to do to have yourself right. And that's what I admire about you, Ronnie. I've watched you from afar, and I've always been a quiet supporter of yours. But if anybody ever asked me, I'd be like, man, you need to be seeing Ronnie Price because you do go hard. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. I'm saying it because I mean that. And you've helped take this show tonight to another level just by you being here. And I appreciate you, partner.
Hey,
All right, man. God bless you.
God bless you too, man.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back on with our next guest, Coach Don Sellers. He's in California right now, and I'm sure he's been listening to these messages, and he's going to have a great, attitude of gratitude himself. So, Coach Sellers, we're going to have you on the phone here in just a minute. We're going to take a break. Am I on now? I am on now. All right, we're back with the Coach Scott Fields Show. And Bob, we were blessed to have NBA veteran Ronnie Price right here live in the studio. And such a humble young man, and great words of wisdom, great insight. He's a man of faith, and loved hearing all
Hey,
that.
is this Don?
Yeah, this is.
Hey, Don.
Hey, is this Bob?
This is Bob.
Hey, Bob, can we do this? Can you call me back on this hotel phone? Because my phone has been ringing off the hook. Can I give you this number?
Yep. Hang on 1 second,
All right.
because I don't want that number.
Great show, by the way.
I don't want that number going out over the air. You'll really have a lot of people calling. All right, hang on 1 sec.
Yeah, we'll have him turn
Okay.
that mic off. As you can hear, we got Coach Sellers. He's at a hotel. He's in California.
Can you hear me, Don?
We're going to get a hold of him. We're going to let Bob take care of his business.
All right,
I'm
go ahead.
going to kind of recap
It's
some
a
things
503
that Ronnie Price was sharing. It was outstanding to have him share
What was
his
it?
insight,
Room 418.
share the nuggets with the players
Okay, what was the
from
last
around
four
the
again?
globe. And we're going to have a good friend of mine,
6397.
a longtime friend
And
of
it's
mine,
room
Coach Don
418.
Sellers.
Okay, got it.
He's coming on the show. He actually, we put that NBA logo up. He had the fortunes to work with the NBA logo, Jerry West, when he was a scout with the Memphis Grizzlies a few years back. I believe Don and I, Coach Sellers, we go back, clear back to 2001. And it's hard to believe it's been 13 years ago, but he and I will talk about that. Bob's busy back there right now. He's going to call him on that landline so we can get him on. And I'm thrilled to have a longtime friend of mine who's got a wealth of knowledge. And we'll talk with him, as soon as we get him on the line here. But gosh, you see Paul Millsap, and you hope that he's going to be doing the same things with Team USA. But Bob's working hard now to get Coach Sellers on the line, and I'm going to keep giving some filler here as Bob gets him on the line. So he's calling that hotel. I know that Coach Sellers, he coached in Canada this last year.
Thank you for holding. James speaking.
He
How may I help you?
also has been
Yes, can I have room
involved with a lot of
418,
camps,
please?
with some NBA
What-
players.
sorry, which room?
I know
418?
that he was part of Trey Burke had a celebrity
Right, what was the name
match
of
that
the
was
person
going
you were
on.
looking for?
And,
Don Sellers?
He's involved. He's a player development guru, and he puts the work in. He's out there on the floor. He's worked with some great players, a lot of
I know
former
there's
NBA players, current
two in the room. Would
NBA
it
players.
have been under last name
and
Lowe?
he's a hard-working guy.
I'm not sure. I know
And-
it's Don Sellers that I'm looking to talk to.
Yeah, and I can remember when I took my head coaching job here in the CBA, Coach Sellers was one of the first guys that I called to come be a part and be my
Okay, well, I
assistant
remember-
coach
I
here
remember there
with
was
the
one other
Utah
name on the room,
Eagles.
I think, that
So,
like that.
hopefully
Yeah,
we
I'll put
can
you through.
clear,
I know he
clear
told me
this up
418, so.
and get him on the line here. So we're hustling, and Bob's working hard as the producer to get him on the line, and hopefully we'll get him to answer the phone here in just a second. But when you're on that grind and you're that coach, you go from hotel room to hotel room, and it sounds like that's what we're trying to get him on right now. So is it coming together okay, Bob?
Well, we'll see. Don, are you there? Hello?
Maybe we should just well, I don't know, you probably can't call up.
Hello?
Hey, there we are. Hey, Don,
Hey, here we are.
I got Coach Fields like to talk to you on the air. Is that all right?
All right, hold on just a moment.
Okay. Busy man.
You probably had to hang up the other phone.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, not a problem. Go ahead, Scott.
Coach Sellers,
Scott Fields.
how you doing, my friend?
All right, how are you, my friend?
Hey, you know what? I am blessed and thrilled to have a longtime friend come and be a guest, here on the Coach Scott Fields Show from Brave Haven Studios. Coach, I was just telling the viewers when Bob was trying to get a hold of you on your landline, I think our relationship goes clear back to like 2001 when Agent Jody Gardner was putting a free agent group together, and we coached out the Pyramid together in Long Beach.
Yeah, Orange County, California.
Yeah, but it sounds like I believe you're in California right now, right, buddy?
No, I'm actually in Oregon.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing C.J. McCullum's camp, and I'll tell you what, C.J.'s a great kid. He just a great individual, a lot like Ronnie.
Yeah.
It was fun to sit in and listen to that interview. I mean, Ronnie hit everything on the nose. I mean, he really did. Talking about the work ethic, talking about what kept him in the league, what keeps him in the league as long as it does. I mean, it was a great interview to listen to. Like you said, it's a great show. And I just can't believe I made it on the Coach Scott Fields Show.
Come on now, Coach. Hey, you and I go way back, and as I was telling the viewers, when I was fortunate and blessed enough to be the head coach of the CBA team here, even though the CBA wasn't the old school CBA, like, you had your years with Yakima, but when I had that opportunity, you were the person I called right away, and you and I hadn't spoke to each other in years, and I tried to track you down, and you were my head assistant here, and of course it was minor league basketball. It was tough. Our owner pulled out, right when the season was starting, and we went through an ownership change, and So, but, you know, you are that guy. I mean, you just got done coaching in Canada, and, you know, I promoted it all week as, you know, a coach, a scout, a player development guru, but you have a wealth of basketball knowledge, and you're
hold
so
on.
good.
Do I need to? I probably need to send you money right after this. No, you know what, Scott? There are friends that you meet in this game, and this game is, you know, like Ronnie said, this game is a game that you can love, or this game's a game that's tough. You know, it'll make a man out of you. And one thing about the coaching side of it is loyalty. And Utah Eagles, you know, what's funny is, Scott, we just ran into a friend of ours, and he called him, and he worked a camp of ours, Bradley Bill, and in Washington 2 weeks ago, and that was Derek Pierce.
Okay.
And we had a great time. We talked about you. And you know what? To all the people there in the Utah Valley, if you guys don't know, Coach Scott Fields is one of the hardest working guys in this game, period. And the other part of it is, if you guys don't know, Coach Scott Fields could play the game back in the day. Coach Scott Fields could do some things. When I found out Coach Scott Fields was so close to Mr. Indiana basketball, that was pretty good. So, you know, hey, this guy isn't just one of the YouTube guys that looks at the game. This guy could play the game. And, again, it's just a pleasure to be on the show. You know, I see you guys talk about empower, educate, and grow. And you know something that Ronnie said, being a preacher's kid, a bishop's kid, you know, Ronnie said something about it's just not religious faith. He said the confidence, you know, breeding confidence. And that's what, you know, you've got to have your faith. There's no doubt about it. But you've got to have confidence in your game. You know, all of us aren't blessed to be like, he talked about Kobe, and Kobe having the footwork. And Kobe, you know, Kobe and LeBron and those guys, they've been blessed with a little more than other people have. But they also have the work ethic to go behind it. He talked about Kobe's footwork. Kobe got his footwork from who? Michael. And, you know, guys just have to understand today, and that's, like you said, the show's theme is empower, educate, and grow. You got to understand it's the little things in this game. And Ronnie just talked about it. Ronnie Price can't jump over the rim. Ronnie Price might not be the best shooter. Ronnie Price might not be a knockdown three guy, but let me tell you something. He just said it. He's going to pick you up. I've scouted him a number of times. He is going to create havoc for the other guard, bringing it up the court. And then when let's say when he was with Phoenix, I saw him when he was with Phoenix. When the starting point guard comes back, now he's going to have an easier time because Ronnie's come in the game and really created havoc the whole time. So I understand Ronnie just said some great things. I understand what this game is about.
You bet. You know what I like? You know, he's that tempo changer. He's that energy guy. Like you said, you've scouted him as you were writing reports for other teams, but he's that guy who comes in off the bench who does all the dirty work that you don't get to see on ESPN. He does all the dirty work that doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but he will wear you down because defensively he's going to get up in you. But, you know, you get out in that open court, he's going to finish strong, and he is going to go to the rack hard. And, I mean, he can do some highlight stuff. I mean, he's athletic and he's taking care of his body. But, again, like you say, Coach, it's the details. It's the little things that you spend hours on, you know, when there's no one around that's going to take you to that next level. And, you know, you've seen it firsthand. You've scouted this game at the highest levels. You know, you've traveled the globe, you know, coaching. You just worked with Craig Hodges up in Canada. What was that experience like, Coach?
Let me tell you what. It's funny, Scott. I remember we did something in Utah, and it was five-man weave. Everybody knows about five-man weave.
Yeah.
But you added a new touch to it, and this was, you know, again, what, 10, 12 years ago. But you added a new touch to it. The first pass was a chest pass. The next pass was a bounce pass. The next pass was an overhead pass. And the next pass might have been a one-hand delivery.
A little wraparound.
And I will tell you this. A friend of mine, Kyrie Stanley, told me, I told him a long time ago, I used to watch Michael talk about the system. I used to watch Kobe talk about the system, watch Shaquille talk about the system. Scotty talk about the system, and then some of the coaches. As you know, Jim Clemens is like my big brother, longtime Bulls coach, and now just got hired last week as a New York Knicks coach and assistant coach. And those guys' eyes, they have a glow to them when they start to talk about the system, like they're almost possessed.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking, after working with Craig all year long, I was talking to Kyrie Stanley, and he said, and we're talking about the system. He said, hey, man, he said, remember when you used to talk about Clem and those guys having a glow in their eyes when they talked about the system? He said, you got that same glow now. Let me tell you, Craig is a guy, obviously 3 NBA shooting champions or shooting championships or whatever, 3-point championships. But, man, Tex taught him very well. He has, 2 championships as a player and 3 as a coach, I believe it is. Yeah. And he just knows the game. And we talk about religious faith or whatever. He's up for that Nick D-League job because PJ wants to bring in somebody that has familiarity with the triangle so you can teach it on both levels. Yeah. So we hope Craig gets that job. If not, he'll do a good job again in Halifax. But I learned so much from working with him. Like I said, with you and the passing the ball, with him and the passing the ball. Passing the ball, I heard Bob say that you guys have a lot of high school listeners. If you guys are listening today, understand something. It's just like delivering the mail. All right, if you're supposed to deliver the mail to 1080 with a 2-hand chest pass, that's where the mail needs to go. If you throw a 2-hand chest pass and you throw it to 1070, well, guess what? The mail just went to the wrong delivery, went to the wrong house, and it's going to end up being a bad situation. When you have guys that are as athletic, let's say it's Ronnie, and you throw the ball behind somebody, Ronnie's going to be ready to recover, steal the ball from you, block a shot or whatever. So passing is one of what I learned from Craig is passing is one of the most important things in that system, in that offense. And I think if you guys watch New York closely this year, you hope that Carmelo buys into it. And if he does, he'll be a much better player.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, Coach? I was only able to go down for like a day and a half down to Vegas at the NBA Summer League. And they, of course, Coach Fisher, he's running that triangle, and they had the veteran, Shannon Brown
you know what's funny though, Scott? I still got even though he was a coach on the floor or whatever, it's still I gotta get that one. No, Fishy, he knows it well. He has Rasheed Hazard there with him. He has Kurt there with him. Now he'll have Clem on the bench. Jim Clemens with him on the bench. They'll hire some good player development guys. Shout out to Clarence Gaines, Little House. He had big house games, his son. He's out the NBA for 13 years with 6 championships with the Bulls and was out the NBA for 13. Phil, again, the same loyalty you had for me when you brought me into Utah, Phil had for Clarence, and now Clarence is back in the game. And they have a great staff there.
And you know what, though, Coach? Think about that. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with when there's that comfort and that loyalty, which is loyalty is the most important, but the knowledge, and they're all going to be on the same page. I'll tell you what, nothing but good things are going to happen, and it'll be a process. But when you got Jim Clemens on that bench, who's been around that triangle for years, just like Coach Fisher, ran, but you got that whole group together, man. It's going to take time, but I'll tell you what, even in the NBA Summer League, that New York team was running the triangle, and they won like their first 5 games. I think they started off 5-0, didn't they?
Yeah, they played very well. We did Tim Hardaway Jr.'s camp early June, and I told him after we came back from lunch, I said, we're going to give you a present. I'm going to take you through the triangle and some of the nuances of it. So we had the coaches come in and run it with him, and I told him, this elbow area is where you could become an all-star here without even putting the ball on the floor. And, again, Ronnie talked about the footwork of Kobe. That's where that footwork comes in. If you remember the NBA Finals a few years ago, Kobe and Paul Pierce had a wonderful one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like I heard you talk about jab steps earlier. Jab step, hitches, whatever, without even putting the ball on the floor and scoring on each other.
Yeah.
And that's one thing from that pinch post, as you well know, Scott, from that pinch post area, I think Tim Hardaway could end up being an all-star from that place. And if Melo buys into it, he'll be one too.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, that triangle is just going to create the space that when he does get the ball, he's going to be able to allow, his athleticism and his scoring ability to take over because he's going to have more space. So, and it's just going to be reading each other and, feeling, it's that pass and getting to the corner. And look at all the players. System basketball works. Mike Penberthy, who was a great shooter, back with Kobe and Shaq and those guys, because he did his job from that position, it opened up the floor for him. When they kick it in and try to double Shaq, Penberthy was sitting out there ready to catch and shoot and knock it down. So system basketball, even the Spurs with their system basketball with the spacing and the extra pass,
what's
all
funny,
those things happen for a reason.
And Bob, obviously you're listening in, but you know what? You help a lot of teams. I've seen you help Golden State. I've seen you help Utah. I've seen you help a lot of teams. But, it's you're doing what you're doing now, and within the next 5-6 years, you'll be on the NBA bench, back on the NBA bench, and then right where you need to be because you never lose touch with the game. That's one thing about you. You people that are there in Utah that don't work out with Scott Fields, you need to get in the gym with them because you're not going to only learn the fundamentals of this game. You're going to learn the little nuances of this game, and that's what's going to put you over the top. You look at the Millsaps. I met the Millsaps through you, and it's those guys could play. Those guys were tough, but they needed to learn the little nuances of the game. John, who we had, needed to learn the little nuances of the game. Paul has become an all-star. Tough guy. Great rebounder, but he still needed to learn the little nuances of the game. Were you in shock, Scott, to see Abraham Millsap on a bench?
No. Come on. Abe was playing for Atlanta. Elijah was playing with the team. Hey, that's the family business. And, of course, I saw D'Angelo. I'm thrilled for those guys. And I got to have John with me for a short time in Venezuela, even though the situation wasn't perfect. But, it's great to always be around those guys because, they're old school. They put on the hard hat. They don't talk. They just come do their job. And they take care of the little details. And I can tell you about John working out in Venezuela. He was working out with the elastic strap between his knees to give him more resistance so that way he'd be stronger as soon as that elastic strap came off. And again, it's those little things like that, Coach, that that these guys who take the time to do it and have learned and have been passed on. I mean, that's why you're so effective, Coach. I mean, you keep it real. You don't candy coat things. You tell players exactly what they need to do, what they need to be working on, the things that they need to correct. And, you're going to work up a good lather yourself being out there on that hardwood, working with those players. So
you definitely try to. But, the funny thing about the Millsap family, you and I know, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, there's a lady by the name of, what's her name? Betty Millsap.
Miss Betty.
Remember the story of they were in a nightclub one night, and Betty Millsap came into the nightclub with her, as some African-American mothers will, came in with her house coat on and house shoes and made those guys get out the nightclub, and they were grown men.
Hey, let's be honest. Miss Betty can do some cooking, too.
Oh, yeah, can she? Oh, my goodness. Yes, she can. Yes, she can, that's for sure.
That's great. So I'm glad we're able to sit here and talk a little bit about the Millsaps because they're just great people. But, Coach, the theme of our show today is, the attitude of gratitude. And I know you've got a laundry list of guys that you could thank, to be where you're at right now. And, as a matter of fact, you've got a wedding coming up, correct?
Yes, sir. 53 years old, never been married. And let's talk about overachievement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever met Mrs. Scott Fields, now, see, I mean this in a totally manly way. Scott's a pretty okay-looking guy. But have you seen his wife? Absolutely stunning. And I'm still not quite sure how Scott pulled this off, but he did. And I'm happy for him. And let's say, 15 years later, I've done the same thing. Her name is Sharon Taylor. Love her to death and get married on August the 23rd. And Scott, now I understand some of the lessons you taught me about happy life, happy wife, happy life. And I'm going to try to make this woman as happy as I possibly can.
Amen, brother. You know what? I saw your post on Facebook, Coach, and I see how happy you two are together, and that just thrills me to see that you found, that balance and, that support system. And, you know what? I'm thrilled for you. I'm excited for you. You know what? It couldn't happen to a better guy, and I know you took your time to find the right one. Now, you took quite a time to find the right one. But God bless you both.
Scott, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but along the way, there were guys like Scott Fields. There were guys like, there's a guy in Phoenix, Arizona right now that reminds me a lot of you, Patrick O'Brien. Just a great workout guy. And then you, like I said, you have Clem, Clarence, Gaines. You have, I worked for the guy that's the logo in the NBA. I'm sure I gave him a few more gray hairs, but it was a great relationship. And he just taught you so much. Jerry just sees the game through another set of eyes, and he'll teach you something. But the one thing Jerry teaches you is, just like Ronnie said, have confidence in who you believe in. Don't, because he says, Jerry sometimes will tell you, I don't like this guy, and you just tell Jerry why you do. He's saying it, and he made it like that same guy. But you have to have confidence in what you do and who you are. And there's just been a wealth of guys who have helped me throughout the time, who have been there, mentors, Rod Baker, and now a D-League coach in Delaware for the Sixers. Just a number of guys. And, you like to, I really and truly feel honored. I watch your posts all the time. I watch the guys that you have on the show, and to be one of the guys. I'm still a little questionable on Bill Neff, but other than that, I say that because if I had an agent, that's my guy. But you just have some great guys on the show, and understand something, Scott, because one thing I know about you is you're too daggone modest. You and Bob are doing a great job, and there's no way that people will come on your show if they don't believe in what you're doing. And what you're trying to do in the Valley there and educate. And that's why, again, I tell people there in the Valley, if you're not dealing with Scott Fields, you need to get in there and get with them immediately.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your kind words. It means a lot to me. Like I'm saying, you and I, we go way back, and I wish I could have seen you when I was down in Vegas. I think you got in there the following weekend when I wasn't able to break away and get down there. But it was hard to try to see it. We both have so many friends in common, and you try to squeeze 11 days into a day and a half, and it was hard on me. But it was great to see a lot of common friends, and Bob Thornton was running around down there with the Grizzlies, and Bob, he's one of those guys too that just works hard, and he works those bigs down there in Memphis. So that's where Zach's going to get better, and there's just so many good
ironic,
people
though,
in this
Scott,
game.
I'm sitting here in Oregon right now, and I'm here with Bob, and I obviously Paul Wolbert was our head coach, and we worked with Tony Fritz, who's an advanced guy for about 4 teams right now here in Oregon with our trainer basketball. The one thing about this game, guys, and you very well know it, Scott, is don't think that Mary won't come back around, because you'll end up meeting somebody who maybe was a scout, a video coordinator, like Eric Spoelstra, and he'll be a head coach eventually. And, I'm here with C.J. McCullum now, and our equipment guy and trainer in Yakima is a trainer here in Portland. So today we met for the first time.
Is that Jeff?
David Vanderpool is there. Assistant coach Stotts is a friend. Yeah. And Neil O'Shea is here. So we just talked about a number of people and just had a great time. You're hopefully one of your favorite sons there in Utah, Trey Burke. He and his father are great friends. His great-grandfather and my father worked together. They lived across the street from us in Columbus. And Trey's doing great things. Just had a gala this weekend in Columbus and an all-star game and a golf tournament. Jalen Rose attended it, and a lot of other people. And he's just planning on doing some great things in Utah as well, outside of basketball. And that's what Ronnie talked about. That's what this show is about. Yeah, the basketball part is good, but let's do some things to educate or empower, educate, and grow outside of the game. And I think that's what the show is all about.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. Well, let me ask you this. You're one of those guys, you're in California for a day, you're in Arizona for a day, you're up in Oregon right now. you're probably going to be in Columbus, Ohio next week. You're in a lot of gymnasiums, and you're around a lot of great basketball minds, and you get to work and and spread your knowledge to a lot of the youth out there. What are some things that you see that you wish you had a month to work with some of these young guys and the development, because you are an expert with the development. So what are some things you see, Coach?
It's just what I hate to keep. First of all, let's talk about Ronnie. I can't wait to see him the next time I'm around, because his voice isn't that deep. So he's just trying to have a deep voice on TV. But it's just what he talked about. The footwork, Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, the footwork, as you well know, is a lost art right now.
Yeah.
We're jabbing. You talked about the jab steps earlier. We're jabbing the opposite way of where we're going.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to the basket, but we're jabbing right or left.
Yeah.
I think it's great to chop a guy up, go through the legs once or twice, or go through the legs, 3 times. But you go through the legs 5 or 6 times, I'm backing off.
Yeah, and you ain't going nowhere with it.
You ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. And I know sooner or later you're coming back to me. So now we talk about taking your space, regardless of what type of player you are. If a guy backs off, take that space. A guy backs off, take that space. And at some point in time, he's got to come up and hit you, and that's when you go right around him.
Yeah.
We talk about, back in my day, guys talk about a left-handed guy like myself sending right. Okay, well, if a guy will take his foot, we're at a mid-court, we're at the top of the key, and I'm guarding you, Scott. Yeah. I have my right foot up and my left foot kind of slanted back. Excuse me, and I'm opening the gate for you to come in.
That angle.
At an angle. Now, some guys say, and I'm not saying teach it wrong, not at all. Some guys say attack the right foot so a guy has to cross back over and get you. Well, I think I like to just walk on in the house. The guy got the door open.
Yeah.
So I would like to just attack that left foot. And I think if I go, like you just said, I just heard you talk about it, it took me back to practice, inside foot. Inside foot, take that dribble, and now the guy has to bring his right, after you attack that leg, the guy has to bring his right foot and cross it over, and at that time, you're at the basket.
Yeah.
I think right now there's one other thing I have a pet peeve for, Scott. LeBron is 6'8", 250, 260, 6'7", 260, 250. LeBron can get by you and put the arm out and hold you off, because he's strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I see so many guys that are our size, Scott, that are Ronnie size or whatever, and they get past the guy, and now they have to take time to try and hold the guy off, and now here comes somebody from the help side.
Yeah.
Instead of you already got your head and shoulders past the guy, don't worry about him.
Yeah, that's right.
Worry about the next problem that's coming.
That's right.
So, you just try to simplify things, and you got a lot of guys out here teaching the game. And you can get stuff from there's some great trainers out there, but I just like the guys who are fundamentally sound about it. Obviously, you and I have learned from Tim Gergerish, who has a camp next week in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Learn from a number of great guys. Learn from some guys that are pretty good now. Gus Armstead, who's like my big brother.
Yeah.
Very good, as you know, very good. And we teach, you teach as well, Scott. We teach just the simple stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that can get you by somebody. The stuff that can, and let's talk about it in NBA terms. Scott Fields, myself, most workout guys that know what they're doing, we're trying to get the guy paid. Okay? As simple as that. I'm trying to work this NBA player out for his next contract. He can't be the same player he was for his first contract.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's Kobe. I don't care if he's Michael. I don't care if he's Irvin Johnson. I don't care if he's Larry Bird. When you came in the league, you've got to get better every year. And that third year, you need to be really good. Yeah. That 7th year, you need to be really good. Right now, Ronnie will get paid off the type of player that he is, not the offense.
Yeah.
He'll get paid off of being a junkyard dog.
Yep.
He really will.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
Yeah, I agree 100%, buddy. I love to hear I hear your passion coming through the phone lines, and I think it's great that, not only nationally but internationally, there are coaches and players that are listening to this show, and it thrills me to take it back to 2001. You and I just in some of them gyms, and I can remember too, Coach. We were getting ready to go into the Laker facility, and Kurt Rambis had us all signing them waivers, and we knew they were going to be running that triangle, and you said one of the simplest things, and we had a group of guys that they weren't big names, and we had the Matt Garrisons, we did have Sean Rooks with us, and we had some guys that Jelani Gardner came in with us, and just Silas Mills came in after the second day. And you said, okay, against that triangle, the first thing we're going to take away is we're going to take away that first wing pass. That'll disrupt them, and then we're going to take away that pass where they pass it back on top of the key, and that got them so off rhythm. They had, they had Rush that was with them, and they had Bill Walton. Luke Walton.
They had guys who dominated
we
the ball, and we knew that when we talked, you and I talked, and Jody or whoever, we knew these guys didn't like to move the ball like they wanted in the triangle. So, my thing was, and I'll tell you if you remember, one of the greatest compliments for us is we went zone for a few minutes too, right?
Yeah, we changed it up.
And Tex walked over. Tex walked over, and he said, "I remember you and I were sitting there." He's like, "You think you're smart, don't you?"
Hey, we won that game by 13,
it was just,
and they were undefeated in the league
so much. You think, and for coaches that are listening or whatever, you can take away specific things in any offense, and then you can dictate where the ball is going to go.
That's right.
That's what you want to do. You want to dictate where the ball is going to go. You tell your guys in shoot around. You tell your guys in practice, this is where the ball is going to go. Now, nobody said you need to steal it, but here's what we want. We want the shot clock down to 7, 8, and now we know where the shot's coming from.
Yeah, that's
so now here's what we don't need you to do. We need you to stay disciplined. We don't need you to reach for no reason at all. We don't need you to gamble on a steal for no reason at all. We just need you to contest the shot. If the shot goes in, God bless them. Great shot. Let's get back. Let's see what we can do on offense. But if you stay disciplined on that defensive end, you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, Coach, we had some fun with that back in the day. I had a lot more hair back in that day.
So did I.
Oh, goodness. That's some good stuff, Coach. And I really appreciate you coming on. And it means a lot to me that, even after all these years, we've still stayed in touch. And I continue to follow your career. And I know things are going to continue to go well for you. I'm thrilled that you're about to have the nuptials, and I'll be with you in spirit there, my man, on your special day.
And I got to say this. My daughters, both of my daughters are listening, so I got to say, hi, honeys.
There you go.
And you guys have to continue to support the Coach Scott Field show. This is a great show. You just get great things off of it. I've listened to it before, and quietly awaited my turn, and I went, as you saw on Facebook, I went crazy. I was like, guess what? I'm going to be on the Scott Field show. So I really appreciate it, Scott, and I hope I didn't bring the level of the show down after Ronnie, because he was so good.
No, come on, Coach. You gave some great nuggets, my man, and I appreciate it. And again, I can't wait to see you, because I know somewhere down the line, the good Lord's going to allow us to cross paths, and who knows,
yes, sir.
Maybe one day we'll get to work together again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in the meantime, I as I always do, whenever in Utah, go see Coach Scott Fields. And Barry Hecker feels the same way. Go see Coach Scott Fields. You'll learn the game the right way.
Well, hey, let's talk about that. Coach Hecker, he got a wealth of knowledge walking around out there, and it's a shame if kids aren't taking looking him up and trying to find him, because he's going to help them, tenfold. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, there's more guys in Utah. There's a guy who worked with Paul.
Look at Johnny Bryant.
His name
Johnny Bryant.
My mind right now.
Johnny Bryant was working with the Millsaps, and he got a spot on the bench with the Jazz. So you got to love his hard work, man.
Okay, great for him. Great for him.
Yeah.
But I would say this. To the Jazz, and I know quite a few people in the Jazz organization, somewhat well. You've got, a guy out there that knows this game, and the next time there's an opening, there's a guy that needs to be hired. And I think his name is Coach Scott Fields.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you. I think I need to be sending you some money. Oh, man. Well, listen, my man, God bless you. Be safe in your travels. Keep doing what you do. Teach the game the right way and teach them those details, because I know that if they're coming in contact with you, you're going to help their market value and you're going to take their game to the next level, my man.
Yes, sir. I'm going to try. That's for sure.
All right, buddy.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you. One thing we know about Scott is he's good and he can talk. So, you being the producer, how does this work with you? I mean, do you go home at night and put in earplugs, or what do you do?
Well, you know what? I turn my headset off.
Yeah, and then when he hits you with the real good nuggets, you definitely turn it back
right.
on and listen. Huh?
I watch his facial expressions, so I know something good's coming.
I'll tell you what, though, that's my guy there, Scott. I really appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. God bless you now.
God bless you.
All right, buddy.
All right, bro.
All right, have a good night. Coach Don Sellers, Bob.
Yep, great stuff.
You can see why, when the opportunity presented itself, I picked up the phone and found him, because he's one of those guys that you've got to have on staff who's going to teach. And again, he's not about fluff. He's not about candy coating things. He's going to tell you what you got to do, and he was a real asset to be on that staff, even though, again, it was minor league. We were fighting for per diem. We didn't know when we were going to have jerseys.
I remember.
We had some challenges, but to have Don here with us and working with the players, I know those guys that were around him. He made them better. And Coach, I appreciate you. This is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun bringing this show, and it was great to have Ronnie come on and share those nuggets. And this show was just outstanding. To have Coach Sellers come on. There's a lot of people who, if they want to try to get a hold of Coach Sellers, he's a friend of mine on Facebook. So if you find me on Facebook, you'll find Coach Sellers. Look him up. If you're in his area or you're in his region, get with him and get on the floor with him and put in the work. We're actually going to take a break next week. We've got some obligations where we're not going to have our show next week, but we're going to come back the following week. I've already got some other NBA coaches lined up who were away on vacation this week because the NBA Summer League had just ended. So it's time for the coaches to take that week and get with their families. Matter of fact, I think Coach Corbin might be off in France right now with Dante, his wife. So hope they're having a good time. And Coach Monty is a good buddy of mine, and he's with his family on the beach. And so I've got some great guys lined up, to finish out the season.
Yep, that'll be great.
Again, we're wrapping up season 1. We're on segment 16 right now. Segment 17 will not be next Monday, but we're going to do it the following Monday. And we hope that you'll take the time from your busy schedules. We know it's later at night on the East Coast, but we appreciate your loyalty. We thank you, and. So again, we won't see you next week, but we'll see you the following week. I don't have a calendar here in front of me to throw out the date, but I kind of want to let people know in advance that we will not be on next Monday because of some personal obligations, but the following Monday we will. And
you can say it, Scott. I've got to work.
We've been pulled away, so and that's okay. We got to pay the bills. And, speaking of paying the bills, we still encourage the people who are watching the show, nationally, locally, and internationally. We are putting these packages together for sponsorship. And, I know if we get a hold of Bob at bravehaven.com or call him up at 801-738-8697, we're going to have these sales teams put together, team leads put together. And, again, we really enjoy doing what we do, but we got to be honest. It would be great to have more sponsorship to help you grow as sponsors, help you grow with what you're marketing, and help you grow your business. We can work hand in hand, and we're excited to put those packages together for
absolutely.
you. And I'll let you speak on it because that's not my expertise, and we're growing and we're learning on this thing. But I'll let you eloquently speak on those packages that we're putting together.
Well, I don't know if I can eloquently speak on anything, but yeah, we've got packets that start at a very nominal fee that small business could utilize to get their name out there, get your visuals out there, and help us sponsor a segment or whatever. And then we've got some major sponsors out there to help us move the show forward and make our set even better and
that's going to be hard to do because you do a great job.
I don't know. I was thinking today, there's probably some things we can do here for season 2 to make it spice it up a little bit,
Well, and we kind of talked about it back and forth, you and I. Season 2 may start back up probably like around November. Pending, how things go and the sponsorships that we get going, but we're going to put these teams together and kind of, get out and hustle on those things. So, season 1 will come to an end. We're going to take a little break. We're going to do other things during that time to help grow the show.
And that's the thing I would tell everybody, we're going to take like a 6-week or so break, and we're going to work on some projects there, and just keep checking the Coach Scott Fields website, CoachScottFields.com. Follow Scott, and you can kind of keep up to date. You can watch all of the episodes on YouTube, on the Coach Scott Fields website, or on the Bravehaven website. We're not going away. It's just there's going to be some reruns, and we might have some little specials in there to come up there and keep things going.
And some like development segments where we'll get on the court and teach and instruct and show mechanics and things like Coach Sellers and I were talking about tonight. The footwork and so we'll put fun things like that together. And I got to be honest, I'm going to do a better job on the CoachScottFields.com website of not only having these things, but putting the motivational sayings on there. Maybe having little blogs where we talk about different things with basketball, and maybe have have like a round table of coaches get on there and we share some ideas and we open some dialogue up and just again grow, empower and educate as coaches, but also we can open it up for players and we can have like a player segment where players can go on and ask questions and other players can get on and we're going to be creative with how we advance it and keep it going. So we look forward to it, and we have a goal of trying to have over 20,000 viewers before season 2. We're over 11,000, and hopefully these next couple of shows, those people who believe in us and like what we're doing, enjoy the content. If you're on Facebook, we really appreciate it, and it means a lot to us if you share that content and forward that information, whether it be on Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram, like Ronnie talked about. His is more private, but you can see some of these guys' workouts, and you go to the YouTube channels, and we appreciate anything that you could do to help us continue to grow the show, because we really enjoy the mission. We believe in the statement, and it's been a lot of fun this first season. Bob. It
absolutely.
Really has.
It's been a blast.
To see where we're at today on July 28th compared to where we were like in March and April, we were just doing some test shows, and we look at the quality of guests that we've had on here week after week. We've tried to show different perspectives, whether it be NBA players, whether it be NBA coaches, whether it be college coaches, whether it be scouts, whether it be front office people, general managers. We've had agents. We'll get some media people on the show and share their insight, like Alima Harrington did a few weeks ago. And we'll keep getting different insight coming onto the show to again educate all of us on what's going on, keeping our finger on the pulse with what's happening daily in the league. But again, these things are all applicable to life. And again, the attitude of gratitude theme today is something that we believe in. And I really appreciate, Coach Sellers talking about, the people that he had to thank to get where he was at. And you heard Ronnie talk about the same things. And I'm the same way. If it weren't for some great people early in my career, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So, to have that attitude of gratitude, we hope that means something to you, and we hope that you take your gratitude to the next level. So we won't see you next week, but we'll see you the following week right here from Bravehaven Studios. It's the Coach Scott Fields Show. So, Bob, we'll sign it off, buddy.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. God bless.